Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it is time for another Premier League review show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do smash a like on the video now if you're watching. If you're watching after the fact, then do that now. Subscribe, get your comments in, all that jazz. Of course, I've got the regulars, Oscar and Corey, with me. But let me introduce probably like up there with like legend status in terms of Premier League shows.
Stop it.
It's true. He's on the big six.
Can you stop this straight away? Let's get into the show. Stop this.
He's on the gas tank. You know what I mean? It's up there, Grizz. It's definitely up there. So
yeah, he is. He's a legend, man.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Love being. Always love chatting with you lot. Always love chatting football with you lot. We've been chatting football for fucking about 2 years now. It's like flown past. So love it. Always a pleasure, man.
Good. Glad. And we'll, of course, talk to Grizz a little bit more detail very, very soon on Liverpool and what to expect on Wednesday. I think Leeds United fans are all expecting it's damage limitations. It's how many can we stop them from scoring. Oscar, how are you feeling, mate? I wanted to just initially thoughts on yesterday. I know it sounds mad. I know we got beat by our rivals, but I can honestly say that them 24 seconds that I had at Ellen Road in between them two goals were right up there. They were right up there. And I know it sounds almost Tim Potty, but I don't care because it's been like nearly 2 decades. And for them 24 seconds, like I was in a different stratosphere, bro. I was like getting thrown all over. It was amazing, wasn't it, Oscar?
Well, I think I shouted, we've got them where we want them, about 40 times after we scored that right at 2-2. Let's get a third. And then, oh, man, I just can't believe we lost it from there, though. I just thought the momentum, I thought De Gea was obviously starting to bottle it. You know, the way that obviously first goal went in, there's the body language of their players. I was thinking, this might actually be happening today. This might actually be happening for us, you know, in terms of your famous phrase, the stars were aligning. It just felt like it was, to be fair. Joffy Gelhardt, Scouser to get the winner. It just didn't happen. And he has that chance for 3-2. And then
that's
when that go in, it's like, oh, no.
If that went in, Oscar, we'd have won that game. I said that in my post-match. Joffy had that chance at 2-2, but
what a moment it would have been. But it's one of those. It was much more encouraging the second half. I'll say that much. Yeah. But because I've kind of said in my preview for the Liverpool game on All East TV, which just filmed, I don't feel like we should start the game with that team that finished the second half because I just still think we were too open. To be totally honest with you, I thought we were far too open. I think we need an extra midfielder in there at Anfield. I do really think that's a massive one for us. But if we go behind in the Liverpool game, definitely an option changing into that front four. I think it interchanged really, really well. So yeah, there was some positives.
If we go behind. Look,
Joe. The dynamics changed. That was normally me that was saying stuff like that. You were going,
sorry,
we'll win it, mate. We'll win it.
No, not on Wednesday. I'm writing it off. I'm looking ahead to Spurs. Wednesday.
This isn't Joe Wayman. This isn't Joe Wayman. This isn't the Joe Wayman I know and love.
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on.
I know. We'll talk a little bit more about it very, very soon. But let me welcome what surely is a very, very downbeat and depressed Corey. How are you doing, mate? You all right? I told you Newcastle. I fancied them for draw.
Yeah, you ruined it again. And I knew the minute you'd say that it would all be down the pans. Over it. I'm trying to find some sort of mental resolution over things, but you know, I actually think the couple of days after the Newcastle draw, it feels worse because I don't know what the answer is. And if I don't know what the answer is, David Moyes, I'm hoping he has the solution. So yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. All the results went against us, and I think, look, I've been saying it for a while. We've been playing badly for about 2 months, and we've kind of got away with stuff, and we've nicked things here and there, but yeah, the worst thing is you're looking at them on Saturday thinking they're spent. And that's the worst type of thing. No subs, no different tactics. Just spent. So it's quite depressing if I'm honest. Like, I really don't even want to go to the Wolves game. I'm actually quite
Oh, but It's bad, isn't it? And it all comes down to the owners, doesn't it, really? You know, they have an opportunity to invest in January to take you, or at least try and cement your place in the top 4, give you a push. And the way that other teams are moving at the minute, we said last week, tongue-in-cheek, but there's a genuine possibility you might drop out at top 7, bro. And that'd just be absolutely brutal if that happened. And fingers crossed it don't, Corey, because I don't want that to happen for you, bro. I don't. But it could. It could.
I want a conference league.
Yeah.
I want an away day, mate. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose them. I don't want to lose them. But look. I mean, it didn't take a genius to sit there in January and say that we needed to invest. We were thin anyway. I just think as a fan, you realise how behind the curve that we really need in the door in the summer. It really is a case of just building. I'm going to dip out and then I'll come back in because this is getting nuts, man. I'll see you in a bit.
It's getting like that West Ham top 4 race. That is, man. I tell you. But Grease, let's start, mate, because obviously a team that is, well, we believed, or we said on this show, we're favourites for top 4, and then they look like they dropped out of it after 3 losses on the bounce. But Spurs, what a fantastic result on Saturday evening. Must have been huge for you as a Liverpool fan, obviously. The challenge for the title's back on now for Liverpool, man.
Look, points-wise, mathematically-wise, it was never off, was it? So 6 points it was, right, going into sort of, obviously, if we beat Leeds, it would have been 6 points before the weekend's results, right? And obviously, Man City, Spurs. And the only thing that kept me clinging on to thinking there might be a result was a couple of things. One of them was Spurs against City. Now, Spurs against anyone else, you know they shit themselves. They're the biggest bottle jobs ever. We know Spurs being Spursy, right? They're famous for being Spursy. But against City, for some fucking strange reason, they're the bogey team. I don't know how they do it. And secondly, Conte, that would have been 4 Premier League defeats in a row for Conte. Now, we all agree, I think, actually, I haven't spoken to you about Conte, I don't think. But I think majority of people would say Conte is top 3, top 5 coaches in world football. How often does a coach of his caliber, that caliber, lose 4 games in a row? Because that would have been 4 games in a row. So I was thinking, he's had a whole week to prepare for this. He's got to make them hard to beat at least. And then rely on Kane and Son to have A games. They fucking had A+ games. I'm not going to lie. Kane and Son were A+, and everyone else was A, except Hugo Lloris, who was like a C-, which meant they pulled it off. Fucking magical, mate. I reckon I celebrated that Kane goal as, okay, I won't say more than any Liverpool goal this season, but as much as one of the Liverpool goals this season.
Yeah. It's funny because a certain someone who's on this show the week before had made the outrageous claim that Harry Kane was done.
I know Corey was so far off it. How far off it was Corey there? Way off, mate. Really amount of typical West Ham fan, isn't it? No, I'll take ownership of that. Kane was absolutely unbelievable. That's one of the best centre forward performances I've seen all season.
Agree.
Across Europe.
Across Europe, yep.
It's unplayable. I mean, made Ruben Diaz look like a League One player, to be totally honest with you. He really did. I mean, Diaz didn't know where to press him, where to drop off. Son was making the runs in behind. Kulikevski as well, I thought had a really, really strong game too, to be fair to him. Probably his best game since he signed for him. And yeah, just Tottenham superb, to be totally honest with you. And if it wasn't for Lloris making 2 completely awful errors, I mean, it could have been quite a nasty one for City, in all honesty, in terms of heavy defeat. But definitely gives Liverpool encouragement. I think the fact Liverpool have got to go to the Etihad as well. The goal difference is tight as well. I think if I'm Liverpool looking at that with Salah, Mane, Diaz, Jota, even your Firminos and that lot, I think that City team can be got at on the counter. There's been a few little signs of it this season. But look, it's going to be a very, very tight title race. You've got the two best teams in Europe for me going head to head. I don't think there's any team across Europe
I've said that so many times. I've said that so many times. We're clearly the two best teams in Europe. I'm not having PSG, Bayern Munich in the same conversation as us two.
For me, Grizz, I've said from quite early on this season, I feel one team will win the Premier League, the other team will win the Champions League, or one team might win both. I don't think the Champions League will be won outside of City or Liverpool. I just think they're that far ahead of the other teams. Obviously, Champions League, anything can happen. But I still feel they're just so far ahead, those two teams. And yeah, it's going to be very, 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 very interesting in that kind of respect. And obviously, you look at it now, it's how City respond to that, with such a poor defeat from their point of view. You can see 3 as well against a Tottenham team that have been struggling to score all season. And it almost feels to me a little bit like Kane had that extra bit of fire, though, in that City game because they didn't pay 150 mil. It just feels there's that extra little bit of... It felt like Kane at the Euros, to be honest, in that back end of the Euros, in terms of the way he played and the way he was pressing.
I really enjoyed the... Was it the second goal? Where he set up... Where you could just see him from a mile away just coming in, do you know what I mean? And he met it, and then it just went straight in top bins, man. I really, really enjoyed that goal. Really, really.
It was pleasing to watch, wasn't it? It's a pleasing goal.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Really if you watch Kane, right? He's not overly quick. He hasn't got, as the kids call them, techers these days, right? He doesn't do the drag backs and the step overs. He's not massively physically strong as well, right? But his footballing IQ, right, is on a different level. And he bamboozled the City defense and midfield just with his intelligent movement. It was like watching... Guys, I used to be a massive, I'm going to show my age now, right? I used to be a fucking huge Marco van Basten fan. Huge Marco van Basten fan. And Marco van Basten was, in my opinion, a class above Kane. So before people start saying, oh my God, that new fella you had on, you fucking compared Harry Kane to Van Basten. I'm just saying, footballing intelligence-wise, right? Harry Kane, without being spectacularly fast, no drag backs and skills and not being majorly physical. He is strong, but not like that's not his number one strength. He bamboozled him with his positional play. And as Joe says, his movement, it was sensational, absolutely sensational.
We're not one. We're used to outlandish claims on here because Matt Hayes, who
oh fuck yeah! Or if you got Matt on, yeah, the king of outlandish takes, yeah. I saw him compare. I saw him compare Gareth Bale to Mo Salah last week, and I didn't.
Matt
respond.
likened
and Davis to
Bastoni. So
my God, I love Matt. I fucking love him.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Right,
he's brilliant.
But yeah, I wish I was on that show.
Yeah, he did that, and he also said Lloris was one of the best keepers in the Premier League as well. So,
what I'll say is, though, Kane,
maybe a couple of years ago,
Kane on Saturday was 10 out of 10. I don't think at this moment in time there's another striker who can put in a performance that Kane did on Saturday at their absolute best. I think that's what Kane's got. He's got to find that consistency again now. Be able to do that in every single game for Tottenham, and if he does, I mean, Kane and Son, if they're at it like they were last season. And all the signs were from that game that they probably will kick on now. I think even Arsenal. I did say Arsenal quite a few weeks ago, top four, but
you did, yeah.
You might be worrying a little bit if you're Arsenal all of a sudden, thinking if we got that kind of similar partnership, Smith Rowe and Lacazette, doesn't, decent players, but not the same, is it really?
It's mad, isn't it, Corey? Thanks for coming back. But it's mad how though, right? So. Only a couple of weeks ago, let's say, I said the bottom 3 was locked in. The top 4 was probably, the league was done. The only thing that was exciting was the top 4. And then in the weekend of football, everything's blew wide open again. The title race is on. Top 4, all the teams are winning now, and it looks like they want to be in the top 4, whereas the last few weeks, no one could be arsed with it. And the relegation opened up again, unfortunately for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, the title race back on, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely... Look, I mean, you had to get a shock result, really, for Liverpool to get back into it. We discussed it the other week, and it was very much a case of can Liverpool win all of their games and where is City going to drop points, because they just seem to win game after game. But I've got to say, on that City-Spurs game, credit to Tottenham, I thought they were absolutely fantastic. That's probably the best I've seen in terms of a counter-attacking side against them, how fluid they were, the build-up from the back, beating their press so easily, the way that Kane was phenomenal. I've got to be honest. Every time he's in front of goal, he looks like he was going to score. Probably should have scored more, in fairness to him, VAR aside. So they're clicking, and Kulusevski, to be fair to him, he's come in and he's adapted very, very quickly, which is a good sign for them. So yeah, it took me by surprise. It opens the title race up, and it's a bit difficult for you lot on Wednesday, because Liverpool will be looking at it thinking not just going and beating them, but a statement and showing that they can compete. So yeah, exciting on multiple different fronts.
Yeah, it's mad.
This is where Joe would be saying, well, we'll get that title race shut right back down on Wednesday. Last season,
bro.
That is what Joe was saying last season, you see.
I can't, man. I can't. And I've been having arguments today on my YouTube feed as well with people. I just want to say, like, some people are convinced that I'm lying when I say that I don't think we'll get relegated. Like, I don't get it's like someone said to me, you've committed to this idea that you don't think we'll get relegated when deep down you do, and you daren't say it. And I'm like, what? Like, honestly, so I've been getting some pelters, but believe me, if I thought we were going to get relegated, I would say it. You know, I'm not daft, although some might think I am. I don't know. But let's talk about Liverpool anyway, with the title race being back on. There was a period of time where they were losing at the weekend against Norwich, and I can't lie, I did look around at that table and I thought, oh no, man, what's going on? But Liverpool will be in Liverpool. Some changes were made, and they put Norwich to the sword. Grizz, what can we expect on Wednesday? Obviously, I think there was a lot of changes at the weekend on Saturday. You got the Champions League coming up as well. Will he make multiple changes? Can you give Leeds any sort of hope? How's it going to look?
So which way around do you want me to answer? The first? Shall I ask the last question first?
Whichever.
Do I give Leeds any hope? Norwich proved, and a couple of teams have proved. You can get, like, Brighton got a draw at us earlier on in the season, and obviously Chelsea and City as well. But look, Sunday showed that if our eyes not on the ball, and if we've got any thoughts of the League Cup final coming up, then we could get unstuck. Now, Leeds are the type of team, regardless of the situation, injuries, time of the game, they will play until the 90th minute, and they will keep attacking you, whether they go 1-0 down, 1-0 up, 2-0, because that's their game plan. You have no other way of playing football except on the front foot. The downside to that for you guys is we love teams that play like that against us. So look, I think he's going to go. And again, unfortunately for you guys, I think we're going to go stronger than we did against Norwich. And let's be honest, if we can't make 7 changes, rest both our fullbacks, rest Fabinho, Thiago, no Jota, no Bobby. If you can't do it against Norwich at home, who are we going to do it against? So that was always going to be the case. Some people were surprised that we made 7 changes. But look, in the end, like, that second half was, I don't know if you watched it, you probably didn't, but that last half an hour was scary, any opposition watching that, because we went up like 3-4 gears, not even 1 gear. And when we needed to, we kicked in. And at Anfield, now with City showing us some more light at the end of the tunnel by losing a game, because look, as I said to you before, the best I expected was a draw. I thought Conte might frustrate the living daylights out of them and sneak a draw. But a win's a fucking bonus, because that just changes the whole complexion of things. And the Anfield crowd expects it. A lot of my mates were there. I didn't go up this weekend, but some of them were saying that second half performance, that second half atmosphere started believing again. And yeah, man, when Anfield starts believing, and it's a night game as well with you lot,
yeah,
I think, and especially after your exertions the other night, because that was the worst case scenario for you lot. Fucking waterlogged pitch against your fiercest rivals, proper Sunday league football, right? It was, wasn't it? It was Sunday. I could have been coaching those teams right out there, right? It was like, there was no tactics. It was just like, you know what I mean? Just pure tackles flying in left, right, and center, energy sapping at, pitch. And now you've got to face probably one of the form teams in Europe. What do you want me to say, man?
Yeah, it's not. And the mad thing is, like, I know there's a lot of complaints from Liverpool fans about the owners and whatnot spending money, and whether you agree or disagree with that, Grizz. But your squad's actually quite stacked now. You know, just for them little additions like Tsimikas when he was brought in, obviously Diaz in January. Just these little touches here and there. You're actually quite stacked. Obviously Harvey Elliott as well. You look all right.
I've just like Robertson, Fabinho, Trent, Konate, Thiago, Jota, Bobby. None of them were involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so think about that. Like, and like people talk about our squad depth, and I said it. Everyone that kept saying squad depth to us, I said we've actually got good squad depth. It's the reliability of the squad in terms of injuries. How unlucky can we be? We can't be unlucky as last season, and hope, fingers crossed, touch wood, and everything like that. Our players haven't been as injured as last season, and we're back. When I say we're back, making it a title race. I still think City are favourites, but we're easily the only ones that make this league relevant. Otherwise, people start calling this a farmers' league as well. It's true though. It's like
we've had this before, man.
We're the only ones. We're the only ones that make it relevant. Otherwise, that's 4 titles in 5 seasons for them. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're the only ones that pushed them to the last game. We pushed them to the last game one season with 99 points. 99 points, 97 points we got, which would have fucking won 90% of the Premier League titles before. Do you know what I mean? And now we had one season where we're decimated. Now we're back and we're nip and tuck again with them. People need to start respecting the levels that Man City, Liverpool have taken this Premier League to. Honestly, we're going to remember it afterwards.
It's true.
It's true. Look, how we losing a game, either team, and saying "fuck"? That's this.
There is that. Yeah,
there's
we were talking
crazy
about
levels to it. When was the last time? Look at stats. When was the last time teams you had to get 92 plus points to win the league? It never happened. 7-8 losses. Teams will be able to get away with. You can't get away with more than 2 losses. It's scary, man, but it's exciting.
Yeah, I won't bow down and thank you though.
For
making it competitive.
No, don't thank us. But I'm just saying respect. I'm saying respect. Because people do say, "Oh, do you know what I mean?" It's like nothing special. Like people forget the special fucking team. Look, we can say what we want about money, and we know everything's Man City have done is obviously revolved around money. But they have got in my opinion, one of the best coaches of all time on top of that. And that's a scary, scary obstacle. Yeah. Like when you've got 50, 60 million players throughout your squad. I know, a lot of City fans say, but we haven't, until this season where they spent 100 million on Grealish, we haven't spent about 50, 60 million. Well, you haven't, but you've spent it on 20 squad players. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? It's scary.
Yeah. There is a lot to be said about splashing the cash. I was listening to something earlier, and they'll say that the narrative around Newcastle is that they spent their way out of trouble, but in actual fact, there's also been a lot of props needs to be given to Eddie Howe, like the re-emergence of Joel Linton, playing him as a midfielder, whereas he was done and buried kind of vibe, and then even just like at the weekend, no St. Maximin, I don't believe, no Trippier. So there is obviously, you can't just throw money at it, can you? There has to be a type of plan to go with this. That's fair enough. Oscar, thoughts on just looking ahead to Wednesday? I actually seen Jan, the City fan. She was having a little debate with Hassam on Twitter, and she said, if this title race goes down to goal difference, I'm really worried about Wednesday. I was like, as a Leeds fan, I'm reading that saying, is that what we are? Like, is that what we are now, where people look at us and go,
I can only imagine what Hassam was saying as well. I can only imagine what Hassam was saying as well, to be fair. Oh, dearie me. What a legend of a man. But yeah, look, it's one of them. I think Liverpool away is the toughest game in world football, categorically. We can talk about City's quality, but in terms of atmosphere, the fact it's going to be a night game, the fact Liverpool have now been given encouragement in the title race, I don't think there's a tougher game you can possibly have, to be honest with you. But look, we've seen Bielsa fried before in these situations. We beat City out of absolutely nowhere last season.
Yeah.
Because you have to remember as well, that Man United game, first half an hour, because I just did the obviously preview for this Liverpool game. There was only 5 shots in that first half an hour off both teams. It was very tight. It was a very, very tight game. There was hardly any chances. I thought we actually looked really good off the ball, to be fair. First half an hour, we kept it really tight. We weren't really trying to press. We were dropping off a little bit. Had the midfield free of Koch, Forshaw, Click. They were doing their roles. Man marking where they had to, covering the wide areas, doing all sorts of different bits and pieces. I think we're going to have to do a similar thing against Liverpool. Look, they score from a set piece. You've got one of the best set piece takers. Well, you have got this best set piece taker in the whole of Europe in terms of Trent Alexander-Arnold. You've probably got the biggest set piece threat in terms of Virgil van Dijk. There's a lot of big worries going into this game, but we've seen it before with Bielsa that when you least expect it, he can pull something off. But yeah, I think the big thing for us is that high line Liverpool defend with. You know, it's clear why they do it. They press high, try and keep it as tight as possible in the middle of the pitch. But we did see last time we went to Anfield, Jack Harrison getting behind Alexander-Arnold a couple of times. Not because of Alexander-Arnold making a mistake, but the way Klopp loves his fullbacks to play.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Dan James, probably the fastest player in the league, or one of the fastest players in the league. You know, maybe 1 or 2 openings, but you're working on margins here. You know, the percentages are all in Liverpool's favour. We're not going to deny that. You know, you give Alexander-Arnold a few chances to cross the ball, he's going to make something happen. Diaz is absolutely unbelievable, I've got to say. From what I've seen so far, he looks easily like he's going to be as good as a Salah or Mane for me in terms of wide forwards. He's got goals in him, and so many threats in that Liverpool team. And then you obviously got Thiago, who can just knit it all together. And the fact they've all had the rest as well, as Grizz was saying, those 7 players he listed out, you're thinking, oh, great. Not only are they going to come in for this game, they're going to have had the whole week's rest. We've just played on Sunday. It's not great, but look, at the end of the day, if we can get something from this game, it's a bonus, isn't it? Let's be totally honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Get something from the game. This game won't be what defines the rest of our season. No. Let's be totally clear about that. The game against Norwich in a couple of weeks' time will. Probably the Leicester game in a couple of weeks' time that I'm looking at as well. Tottenham. I still think Tottenham are beatable.
Yeah, I'm actually quietly confident about that game, bro. I'm not going to lie. Like, I see us getting... I don't say confident as in we're going to get 3 points, but what I'm saying is I'm not writing that one off. Whereas Wednesday, I'm like, yeah, there's no point in turning up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Wednesday morning, bro, I'll be like that. We're going to get some out of this. It'll get to midday and I'll be like, oh, yeah, we're going to beat them, man.
Well, I bought that train, mate, and I'm thinking of Mark Viduka's 4 goals and the 4-3. I'm thinking that. I'm thinking that. I'll chuck a yellow off the bench. You know what I mean? What's that, mate?
Are you at the game?
Yeah, I'm at the game. I'm via the train, so it might be a very, very miserable train ride back. It might be a very happy one. I don't know. But as long as it's not as bad as the Everton one. Oh, the Everton one.
It's brilliant.
Oh, coming back on that train.
Well, listen,
Everton fans.
Fat Frank got beaten.
Frankie Lampard.
Fat Frank got up for his cup final, didn't he? And then got hammered. You know what I mean? And can't seem to catch.
Keep an eye on Everton, mate. I told you. Like they're looking a bit ropey. And
but Corey,
be mad if they drop.
And Grizz will agree with me on this. Not sure Grizz has seen this on Twitter. Everton fans want to lose to City at the weekend to make it more difficult for Liverpool to win the title. And I'm not actually messing around there. I've actually seen Everton fans tweet that, and you're thinking, well, one, you've probably not got a choice in the matter.
No, that's hilarious. Like they've actually got a fucking choice. Like they can actually do anything about it apart from get smashed by City. Like we know, and that's the mentality of them, isn't it? Like just typical Evertonians. Like rather get relegated, right? Danger of relegation because they are, as Corey says, they're absolutely in it. And if they think they're not, they're more deluded than you think.
Yeah. Well, let's move it on and let's bring it to Corey. It's the Hammers dropping more points, brother. Where do you lie in the table right now? Are you?
We look all right, but it doesn't really show you the full picture. Definitely.
Yeah. Talk to us, man. What happened?
We just look shattered, mate. I tried to. I was watching the game, and to be fair, you could break it down like West Ham have struggled to break down teams that sit a bit deeper. To be fair, we gave Newcastle a lot of the ball, and if you're being kind to West Ham, you're saying they're just restricting them to playing that long ball over the top and that diagonal. But I've got to say credit to Eddie Howe because he targeted Ryan Fredericks. He knew he just overlapped, underlapped, and it overloaded him, and it pulled Souček over. And you've seen the goal that they've scored. Rice makes an uncharacteristic error. Fabianski again, another one, and we don't need to be going into games like that where it's marginal, where we should be saying, well, Dawson's got to win it from a set piece, and we'll see it off 1-0. It's the general performance. I think for the first half, Antonio looked half fit, and our attack looked half creative, and you could see Ben Rama getting behind and Fornals getting the ball, and Bone had one that I think clipped off the bar. But like I said, the minute he drops, that whole attack goes. And Newcastle second half set up for a draw, which you would do. If you were them, 100%. They play 4-5-1 out of possession. So come and break us down, play between the lines. And like we lack the energy and the intensity to break them down. And tactically, we're not that type of team that plays through the lines enough. So it was just a bit same old, disappointing. But we are really seeing a huge drop, not just from Antonio, but for Souček so far out of form, it's ridiculous. There's a lot of players out there that look absolutely shattered, and we look slightly devoid of ideas. So there's a lot of questions going along with West Ham fans now ahead of Wolves. It's a massive game. It's become a massive game now because really, if we can get a draw out of that game and we can pen them back a little bit, we're looking at 7th and 6th maybe, and that's being quite optimistic. We do need to get a result, but you're talking taking Souček out of the team. You're talking taking Antonio out of the team. Moyes has got to come up with something that we've not seen. Whether it's a false 9, whether it's even Mark Noble to come in for a game, he's gonna have to make a risk. He's gonna have to take one because if he doesn't, these players are dead on their feet. And Rice is looking shattered. Rice is having to pull up the work of Souček constantly, and it's now starting to affect his game and his energy level. So you've got big problems, mate. Big problems.
There was one scene. There was one scene where Souček was trying to catch. Who was it? There was one player getting away, and oh man, I can't remember
Probably
the player
Joe
he was trying
Willock,
to catch.
to be fair.
Was it Joe Willock? And like Souček, right, is like what, near 7 foot, right? So you can imagine reach another 3 foot, right? And he's sprinting behind this guy who's got the football at his feet as well. So that's like loads of reach, and he still couldn't catch him. He was trying to foul him. He's trying to stop him like a counter attack.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, that's where West Ham are going to be lacking, because who you got to step in that midfield, and that's why what Joe said earlier about your investment. January, you got your new owners. It was the time to just give that little oomph, because we've seen what a little oomph does in January with Diaz. It's revitalized our squad, and I was adamant that West Ham will do something. Very much like what I think a lot of people thought Arsenal would do something in the transfer market in January. They didn't. It might cost them because they've got Lacazette and Nketiah up front. Yeah. You guys have literally, I think, tell me otherwise, only got Souček and Rice, and then you got Noble stepping in if any of them get injured. And that's not and Rice and Souček seem to be playing 90 minutes near enough every game, bar the odd game in Europe where you've rotated them. It's mental. It's like you can't keep up in this Premier League. It's a jungle out there, man. You've got to refresh players.
Yeah, I agree. I think this squad of players aren't used to playing this amount of games this regularly. And I don't know, maybe I fall back on it. When I've spoken about cup competitions, I've been happy to see us go strong because it's nice for us to show a bit of ambition. There's nothing wrong with it. But you look at Souček, who's played the whole of last season, played 3 games in a week, played the Euros, come in. I'm seeing him not be able to win his headers. We're talking about basic duels. I'm not asking Souček to pick the ball up and play it through the lines and play a 1-2, but the basic physicality of it he needs. And we don't have control of that midfield. And that's been a big problem. You know, when he's off it, Rice is getting pulled into positions he doesn't need to be in. And we've just got more headaches than we had before. Even on top of it was all right when we had Antonio, because I go, well, Bowen might nick a goal or we'll look still strong and we'll win a game 1-0. But, you know, to be honest, at the minute, the only players that look decent are our centre-backs. Honestly, they didn't put a foot wrong. But you're playing against Newcastle and Chris Wood, which I would expect for Zuma and Dawson to deal with, which they did.
Big shout out Chris Wood, by the way, if the stories are believed to be true, with him meowing at Kurt Zuma. I thought that was
he's getting it, mate. He's getting it. He's getting it every game. Like you know, we had I think it was the Watford fans came the whole game, Newcastle fans the whole game. You know, West Ham fans as well. So you just got to put up with it, really,
Yep.
to be honest. But
yeah, top shithousery from Chris Wood, if it is indeed true. Do you think top four's done then, Corey?
it is indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a shame, really, because
Yeah.
I think we got excited, and if this team was fully fit and you had Angelo or Bonner back in there, maybe this team's proven that it can compete. It's just, it's the energy levels, mate. And look, I've said before in January, I could have sat there and said, well, we maybe need a left back, 2 strikers, an attacking midfielder. We're looking in the summer, we need a backup goalkeeper, another centre back, maybe 2 to come in, 2 midfielders. It's becoming a huge rebuild job that I never thought it would have to be. And we put pressure on ourselves in the summer, because it'll be disappointing if we finished 8th or 9th. But if you looked in the grand scheme of things, where we've come from to where we're at now, you'd take it. But the concern is, when you are West Ham, or you are a bit different scale, Leicester, when you get your opportunity to compete with the big boys, you have to take it. And there is a concern that we maybe have missed the boat. But I don't know. We might go out of cup competition. We might get back one week and look all right again and sort of pull ourselves together. But it's not nice at the minute.
You're still in the FA Cup, bro. You might do a job on that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
got Southampton, mate. That's not easy.
True.
It's a case, but that's what I'm saying. Now we're looking and going. People are genuinely having a conversation. Do you risk the league and just say rest for the Europa and rest for the FA Cup and go as far as you can in those?
But it's a great position to be in as a West Ham fan, right?
It is, but it's also the fact that top 4 spot was wide open, and it was just a case of gambling a little. I don't even think it was a gamble, to be honest. I honestly think we could have got a lone player in. We could have gone for that French centre back, that Croatian centre back from Marseille. Those little tweaks, it would have made the difference. But it's just, you can't ask a team to compete at that level, given that you already know it's punching above its weight for over the course of a season, you know. And I don't blame the players. They try their best. That's the one thing, at least as a West Ham fan now, I'm not going, he's not pulling his weight and he's not doing this. They all are. But when you're spent, and you can see it.
100%. And I guess, Oscar, this weekend, the top 4 race sort of did blow wide open. We were been saying for weeks now, or at least a few game weeks, how it looked like nobody wanted it. And then this weekend, obviously, Arsenal win, Spurs win, Man United win, Wolves as well beat Leicester. And you could argue there, maybe, I know it's mad because West Ham are still in 5th, but it looks like Wolves have maybe overtaken them in terms of the surprise package for the top 4, even though they're below West Ham in the table. But like Corey said, it feels like West Ham are out of it now. But I think for me, that Wolves-Arsenal game's a massive one, Oscar. I think it's Thursday. If Wolves get a positive result there, I mean, who's your pick at this? I know you've said Arsenal. Has that changed back to Spurs now after their great win against City?
I still think Arsenal. I just think Arsenal have probably been playing the best football, I think, out of all the teams pushing for it. I think in terms of like consistently, I think they're having the odd horror show. Like against Liverpool, they're absolutely back to the old Arsenal, to be fair, every time they play Liverpool. But I think in general, they've actually been playing really well this season. It's just that top end of the pitch, Lacazette and Nketiah just misfiring. For me, I think for Arsenal, just put Martinelli up top and just, I think he's probably their most natural goal scorer in that kind of sense. But whether they're going to do that or not, I don't know. But I still think Arsenal, I think that back four's really settled now in terms of Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel and Tierney, or Mendes, who obviously comes in as well. Tavares, who comes in as well. Ramsdale's obviously done really well as well in goal, still continuing to perform well. But I've got to say, Bruno Lage has got to be in the Manager of the Year discussions at this moment in time in terms of the job he's done. I know as much as City and Liverpool, points-wise, once again, absolutely madness what they're doing. But look at what Lage is doing at Wolves. Without Neto for large parts of the season, Neto is now back, available. Massive player for them last season. In terms of counter-attacking threat, he's absolutely crucial for him as well. So I am definitely not ruling out Wolves. I think Hillman has had a very, very, very underrated season at centre-back. It's a strange
I was listening to something earlier on, and they're saying that Chelsea are interested in him.
There's a in terms
he's the next best thing.
Right?
I guarantee you, he's the next best thing.
Yeah.
Kilman is one of the best young centre-backs around. He
He's
should
the futsal
definitely...
guy. Was he a futsal guy?
Yeah, he was.
He was,
right?
He's got everything about him. You know what? Chelsea are smart. If the likes of Rudiger, Azpilicueta, and what's the other one? Christensen are not signing new
Yeah,
contracts with him. And if
yeah,
they are
yeah.
linked with him, that would make so much sense because he's homegrown as well, wouldn't he be? He's British, isn't he?
I'm just having a look. Yeah. So it says Chelsea consider shock transfer for Wolves defender Max Kilman, 6'5" futsal star. Yeah,
he's class. I've been watching him for a little while now. He's absolute class.
Yeah.
If Southgate doesn't pick him for the next England squad, there's got to be big questions asked as to what he's got to do. The fact Wolves are in a top 4 race, defensive record wise, Wolves' record is absolutely unreal. By the way,
Bowen's got to be in there as well, right? Just to
Who's that?
Bowen. Give Bowen his props.
Oh, give him that 20 shirt, mate. Get him on. He deserves it. I can't speak highly, but he's right. Kilman for the centre back shout. Ben White should really be pushing. I think it's time for Southgate to start picking up these ball playing centre backs.
Let's just get rid of Tyrone Mings. As long as Tyrone Mings,
that's what I'm saying. The pressure's on Tyrone. He's got to go, mate. He can't keep staying in there. No leadership.
I mean, would any other nation, right? Looking at the talent, because if you see some of the players that you've mentioned, right, some brilliant centre backs who've been playing out of their skin, and then England persist with Mings and Maguire.
Oh, it's crazy.
Make that make sense.
Mings is terrible.
Mings is one of the worst.
As well, Grace.
Hey,
Pickford will still play over Ramsdale as well, I reckon.
Yeah. That as well. Unbelievable. Yeah. And no Trent, but fuck it.
Well, the thing is now, if Alexander-Arnold doesn't get in that team now, the fact James is injured as well, you know what I mean? It's madness. But that's it. I look at it and say, you know what? If you're England, you're looking at it and thinking, the succession to Stones and Maguire might well be Ben White and Max Kilman. The fact Kilman's left-footed as well, it might be a shout for it. In terms of
nice, isn't it? It is nice. White, it's very nice.
It's a nice little compliment to have. Yeah. And then Charlie Creswell will come through in a couple of years' time too and outdo them all. But we all know it's happening. Yeah. But to be honest with you, Wolves are definitely in the shout. If Bruno Lage, no disrespect to Wolves' quality, but if you had a better quality set of players, I tell you what, he'll definitely be in with a shout of a top job in the summer.
Large and in charge, innit, Grizz? That's what you've coined him, innit? Large and in charge, something along those lines.
Mate, I tell you, Bruno Large and in charge. I'm telling you, he's a serious contender. Oscar's right, man. Because you got to remember, most people, we know Eddie Howe's done a brilliant job at Newcastle, but we also know he's had 5 signings in January?
Yeah, something like that,
Yeah, and you can tell they're his signings as opposed to they've been, thrown at him. Here's Robinho. Do you remember when Man City went mad? Here's fucking X.
He thought he was signing for Man United as well, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. That made it worse. But you can tell these are Eddie Howe. He knew what he was doing. Got a local lad in Dan Burns, Target. Kieran Trippier is going to go down as one of the, I rate the kid so highly, but Bruno Lage has not had any players come in. Just the odd loan signing, wasn't it? Like the guy from Barcelona, Trincao. And it's the same set of players that the previous manager had. Same system as well, people. Yet they're so much better to watch. And as Oscar says, one of the best defensive teams as well at the same time. So what does that go down to? That goes down to brilliant coaching, training ground. And the way he talks about the game, when you get interviews with managers and afterwards, and they just say the basics are, we showed the right character and we showed the right passion. He fucking breaks the game down and you're glued to the TV and listening to him and thinking, fucking look how much he looks into little things. And I think he's been so impressive. You know what I mean? A lot of big clubs will be looking at him, I reckon, in about another season or so, of course. Yeah.
Be huge if they got any European spot as well, wouldn't it? Really, when you consider when he was coming, I bet Wolves fans probably weren't thinking about Europe, and then
To be honest, I want Wolves to. I want West Ham.
Wolves and West Ham would be amazing.
They're the West Ham of last year. I look at them and I think they've got that momentum now after Chris. And look, I know we say they don't and they haven't spent money, but when you break it down, you look at some of their players. Neves is fantastic. We've seen it. The only thing is for me, they're playing a little bit more progressive. They're getting on the ball now, and you're seeing their quality. And they brought on Neto yesterday. I'm thinking Neto, Podence. I know Jimenez isn't really the same player this season, but they've got some good players. And even the players that were weaker, like a Semedo, he's actually got him playing. And so they've kind of got that balance now. And Well, listen, when we played him, we looked good for 20 minutes. He changed it in game and it screwed us up. So he's an intelligent guy. So yeah, do you know what? Take West Ham out of it. It'd be good to see him in Europe, as would any team that's sort of coming up. And they deserve it. They really do. And good for them. If they can push that top 4, fair play.
Yeah. Let's just quickly on the doors before we move on to relegation scraps. We'll be finishing up soon. I just want to know your pick for fourth spot at this point. We know that Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City will get the other 3. Corey, who's your pick for top 4 at this point?
I think I flip-flopped, didn't I? I said United, but I initially said Spurs. So I'm just going to go Spurs. Stuff it.
Spurs. Oscar?
Still Arsenal.
Still, yeah. What about you, Grizz?
It's too tight, innit? I tipped Arsenal. Started off with a bit of banter with the way I tipped Arsenal, but I think it's coming true now. Coming to fruition now. So I'm going to stick with Arsenal. Yeah. But with no confidence.
Yeah, with no confidence, yeah. I think you're right, though, mate. I think the fact that Nketiah and Lacazette are going to be counted on in them moments, and
that's the problem.
And Aubameyang went and scored a hat-trick, didn't he? So there you go. Yeah, it's a bit of a mad one. I don't know who to pick. Let's just go Wolves just for shits and giggles.
The only thing I'd say about Tottenham is, as much as going forward, there's no question Kane and Son's better than what Arsenal have got. But I always look defensively. I think if you go outside of Romero, by the way, what a game he had against City. What a difference he makes in that back line. I just don't think Tottenham have got that same quality at the back to keep clean sheets like Conte won that Arsenal have. In terms of even in the midfield, I just think Arsenal have just got that little bit of extra quality and are going to play less games as well.
What a pair of signings, and they got absolutely battered for it, even from their own fans. But what a pair of signings Ramsdale and Ben White were. What a pair of signings, and they even got battered off their own. So I hope they are, I hope they owe apologies come the end of the season if they do get top 4 anyway. Right, let's talk about the relegation scrap quickly, because I know Grizz will need to shoot because he's got the big 6 at 9. Burnley win and score 3 goals. Massive result for them. Beating Brighton. Weghorst on the score sheet as well. Looks like a decent signing. And it looks like they've probably ended up better with him over Chris Wood, the way Wood started life at Newcastle. Watford get a win against Aston Villa. I don't know. Like, I'm still confident we'll be all right. I am. But it's getting very, very tight. It's getting very, very tight. I think the one thing, like, I know I said the other week it's locked in, but I've changed my mind now, and I think Burnley might get out of it. But they're in 14th currently, but there's a big shout for Brentford to join them. They've won 1 in the last 10 games. And looking at Brentford's fixtures, they've got Newcastle, Norwich, and Burnley up next. Ooh. So it's really like do or die time for them, because the teams below Brentford, like us, Everton and Newcastle, have all got at least 2 games in hand on them. And then they've got to then play, obviously, the bottom 3. So Brentford could get dragged into it. So, yeah, Grizz, I want to get your opinion, because obviously you're on the show for the first time. Like, who's your relegation picks? Are Leeds in trouble?
No. And I'm not saying it because I'm arse-licking you lot because I'm on your channel. You know I've said this for ages and ages. Anyone who comes with me and with Leeds slander and Bielsa slander, I'll go headstrong in then on them, right? Not having it, right? Leeds won't go down. They won't. They're fucking brilliant, and I hope they don't go down. You won't. You will survive. You do need Bamford. I don't know what the situation with him is, but you do need him back sooner rather than later. And obviously Phillips. Is Phillips long term?
March Phillips. I think Bamford's the long term one. We don't have we don't have a return date. We don't have one.
Well, they are obviously crucial. Yeah. Look, and I've said Brentford. Loads of people kicked off with me when I said Brentford, and everyone was blowing. Yeah, Brentford. I said they're gonna fall. They're gonna fall. And I'm happy that my prediction's coming true. Look, don't get me wrong. A lot of time for their coach. Yeah, he's done well. He is what it is. But you just look through that squad. Again, the striker up front, Ivan Toney. Again, so many people raving about him. I said I don't see it. I'm sorry. If I get proved wrong, then slap me in the face. I'll take it. I don't see it. I don't see none of their midfielders, overly standing out. They've got a system. They've got a way of playing. And that's what you got to say about Burnley. They've got a system and a way of playing, and now they've added a bit of quality with Cornet and Weghorst. And this is, again, it proves a couple of signings makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Like, take out Cornet and Weghorst, right? And we know, and we were guaranteed Burnley are not surviving. But, you know what I mean? He's got a tune out of Cornet, he's got a tune out of Weghorst, and suddenly they'd probably be my favourites of staying up out of that group. Newcastle definitely staying up now.
Yeah.
Even though Trippier's got a little injury, hasn't he? So Newcastle definitely staying up. And then it's don't even know who's down there after that. Norwich.
Yes. Norwich, Watford are done. I know Watford beat Villa, but Watford and Norwich are done. I think.
Yeah, it's just that. It is. Look, I would have 100% said Watford, but that was a massive win again for them,
Villa.
man. Yeah, Villa. I mean. It's someone's going to get dragged in there, like the Everton. I think Corey said earlier, Everton will get dragged in there, and Brentford. So I don't think it's nailed on. Like
it's going to be horrible between now and the season.
I think. Look, let's put it this way: Leeds, Burnley, Newcastle definitely out of it. I will get out of it, if not 100. I'm 90% certain they'll definitely stay out of it. The others, take your pick, man.
Yeah. Corey, thoughts after this weekend's turnaround? Honestly, I can't lie. It's on Saturday, about, I don't know what time it was when Norwich went in front. I looked at that table and I was like, oh no. Like, Norwich were beating Liverpool. Burnley were 2-0 up at the time. Watford Villa was 0-0. And I was just going, oh no. And then obviously Newcastle got a point against you. And I'm thinking, oh no, like this can't be happening. And I feel like we're going to get that between now and the end of the season.
I agree. It's so tight down there. It's absolutely nuts. And to be fair, I would have written Watford off, but then I saw them. I look at Roy Hodgson, you look at the players they've got on the counter-attack in Sarr and Emmanuel Dennis. Someone's got to pick him up. I hope it's us if they get relegated. They have firepower and they have organisation, and so do Burnley. So maybe they can creep out of it. I just think it's the teams like your Brentford or like your Everton where people don't expect them to be in that battle. But when you actually look at it, you look at the fixtures and the performances, they have been poor. And I think Leeds stay out of it because you've got that intensity and that fight, and you've got a match winner in Rafinha. And I just think as long as you play your best team, you should be all right. You know what I mean? You see it in the second half. And with Phillips to come back, that would be a huge boost for you as well. So I think the timing will benefit you. But as far as who's going down, I think Norwich, I'll probably put them out on Norwich, Watford, and I'm going to keep to my guns and maybe Everton get in there. I think Burnley, man, I tell you what, imagine having a 4-4-2 with Cornet and Weghorst up front. It's
Brighton are good as well, man. Like they are. They're not a team you can bang free past. You know what I mean? I think Potter was saying it's the worst performance under his tenure, so there might be something in that. But
do you know what I really liked about the goals? I just thought they were so intense in the counter. The amount of bodies they got forward and how intelligent Weghorst was with the cutback for his goal. They've got enough. They've got enough to get out of it, and the game's in hand and the momentum it benefits them.
Yeah, no worries. Well, Grizz, I know you need to shoot, brother. So thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you, man.
Us the lowdown on everything Liverpool. His channel's in the description. If after this you're stuck for something to do, check out the Big Six because he'll be on there live at 9 p.m. as well. And Grizz, thank you so much, brother.
It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you. Chat to you all soon, man. Nice one.
Well.
See you later, man.
Bye-bye.
There we go. What a legend Grizz Khan is. Make sure you check him out on the Big Six and on his own channel as well. The link's in the description. But yeah, Oscar, thoughts, mate? Obviously, like I said, there's a lot of squeaky bum time stuff with Leeds fans, and I understand it. Like I say, go check my YouTube comments on that Man United game, and there's people arguing. There's even I waded in. I can't lie, because I was getting sick of the slander that was getting thrown at me, saying I'm a liar. I think we're going down and that, and I was like, nah, man. But it is gonna get. It's like that. It's gonna get like that. Because come the end of the season, I just want to breathe a sigh of relief, and I'd take 17th now. I would, just so I could get rid of that pain and this arguing and infighting that's going to happen, because it's going to get. I mean, Wednesday is going to be even worse, but they're not. I mean, they're not the games that you find.
It shouldn't be. Wednesday shouldn't make a difference.
Nobody will go on it because we'll get spanked and everyone will go, but we should get beat anyway. It's Liverpool, man, for God's sake.
Well, yeah, look, I mean, the thing is for me, We played Brentford away in the last game of the season. My big thing for Leeds this season is that we go into that game not needing anything, because that is a horrendous thought. If we go to Brentford needing a result to stay up.
Is that the last game?
It is. All of a sudden, that game, you look at it and you think, at the start of the season, I'm not going to lie, I was looking at that game and thinking, that'd be decent, that. Bank holiday. Oh, I don't know if it's bank holiday or not, but anyway, it's a sunny day in London. Might go and see Corey, have a couple of pints. It'd be a good old laugh. West Ham will be top 4, we'll be all right, and all this lot. And then all of a sudden, it's just, I don't know, it's just gone a bit all over. But you know what I'm saying, mate? We go into that Brentford game needing some kind of result or any kind of result. It's not going to be a great situation. It's going to be a very, very tense last game of the season. But for me, I just look at it and say these next couple of home games are the key ones for me. Obviously Tottenham, we can get something maybe from that, or at least be competitive in that game. You've then got obviously Norwich, Norwich, Leicester away. That kind of cluster of games just for the next international break. That's key for me. That's massive, because obviously when we come back from that international break, it's not particularly friendly last couple of games of the season. I'm not sure I can agree with you, though, mate, on Watford. I don't think Watford are absolute certs to go down. They conceded they conceded very few goals under Hodgson, and as Corey said, they've got difference makers at the top end of the pitch. They're not great to watch. To be totally honest with you, I think Watford, footballing wise, are the worst.
If they're not, who is then?
I don't know. Norwich are the only ones who are definite for me at this stage. I think it's a real. I think you've got to talk about a lot of teams all of a sudden. Obviously Palace, if they get beat at Watford on Wednesday night, which is entirely possible, all of a sudden you've got to be saying they're in it. Brentford are definitely in it. Unfortunately, with where we are on the table, you've got to say we're in it as well, in all honesty. And if we're in it, so are Everton. So there's a lot of different teams in it. Watford are absolutely horrific to watch. I've got to agree with Temp name there. But Dennis and Sarr, as Corey was saying, might just win them a couple of games. And defensively, they have, like it or not, improved. I mean, they could not be any worse than what they were under Ranieri. What were they conceded like 40 goals in 10 games, didn't they, under Ranieri, or something mad like that. So they have obviously improved from there. But it's going to be very, very tight. As you say, 2 of them have got to go. 2 of these teams have got to go. So I don't think anyone can rule themselves out of it. I still think, and people might call me deluded, but I think by a distance we've got the best manager out of the teams down there. I would still say that with my chest.
Why are you deluded? It goes without saying, man.
I'll say that with my chest. But no, just be people in the comments. I'm listening to people talk about the manager next season. We've got Marcelo Bielsa.
Yeah, man. It's the worst thing when it's Leeds fans.
We're not going to get better than that. You know what I mean?
They don't understand, man.
Why are we getting excited about discussions about a next manager? We've got one of the best there is available to us. I know. That's driving me mad. I'm not going to lie. That has driven me mad that there's even discussion. People that I massively respect as well, by the way, in the Leeds sphere, are talking about that. I'm thinking,
same agreed.
Some of these managers we're talking about are being sacked in the middle of the season, by the way. Some of these managers that get talked about. We're talking about the Marcelo Bielsa here.
I know, bro.
It just seems a crazy. For me, mate, it's like City fans talking about getting rid of Pep so they can bring in, I don't know, Arteta or something like that. It's just it's madness. That discussion for me personally. But look, you can say it's cuckoo land if you want. Nicholas Griffin, we've got Marcelo Bielsa at the club. We've got players out at this moment in time. Yeah. Next few games.
The latest narrative is as well is like, I care about Leeds, not the manager. Like, as though we've suddenly morphed Leeds United into Bielsa, like Bielsa United. No, it's just I know what that man has done, and will. I've told you I'll never call for it, but there are certain sections of the fan base, because we lose to Man United, saying whatever. Look, we're 15th in the table. The remit for Leeds United over the last 2 seasons was 17th, then a big push. Paul's
Nicholas, I apologise, mate.
Paul's one of the guys that I was having a debate with, man. Paul knows. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But
I totally agree with that, by the way. No, listen, I totally agree. People are entitled to their opinion. It's not been a good season for us. We've conceded 50 goals at the end of the day. We're conceding over a goal and a half at this moment in time. That's not good. I'm not going to kid you that's good. No one's going to say that's good. The point is, I just don't get why we're looking at next season. Why are we looking at next season? we're in the here and now. We're in the here and now. If it's as bad as what everyone's saying, well, next season we might not even be in this league. If it's as bad, I'm not saying that, by the way. I'm just saying, but if everyone's saying that, that's what I don't get. You know what I mean? I just don't get this.
Like George there has called Bielsa a liability.
But the thing,
it's not on. No, it's not on, George. You can't say that.
But Joe, why are we discussing managers when we're in such a horrific position in the table for next season? Why are we talking about next season at all? Is my question. How is that helping anything? Is what I just don't see. If we were mid-table or something, and Bielsa said, in his press conference last week, "Oh yeah, this will be my last season," I could kind of get it, but why are we even discussing that now? Is the thing? We're in a dogfight. Let's be honest. At this moment in time, a couple of wins we won't be, but at this moment in time, right in the here and now, of course we're in a dogfight. But that's just the point I'm making. I'm not having to go at people's opinions whether Bielsa's done a good job or not this season. I'm not questioning people on that. Personally, I still think Bielsa's done fine this season with the injuries we've had, but I just don't get the discussion. That's my point. I'm not having to go at people for having a different opinion to me. I'm just saying, why are we even discussing this next season is my big thing. Why are we doing it? I'm not just talking about Leeds fans here. I'm talking about people, who are reporting on the club and talking about next season. What's that all about?
Yeah, I know. Because it fits. Yeah, sells papers, doesn't it, bro? That's what I've noticed a little bit of that myself, bro. I can't lie. Recently,
but the thing is,
it has sort of like wound me up a little bit. But this is what's going to happen, though, right? This is what's going to happen, and I don't know. For me, all I've experienced since doing content creation has been Leeds up, because Bielsa came in right when I started. Do you know? Well, I started back end of Heckingbottom and then officially jumped on the channel, All Leeds TV, and it was Bielsa, and it was like, wow, Premier League, wow. And now this is the first real period. So this has been the first difficult time for us really under Bielsa, but there'll be a lot worse than that and all that say. But look,
Joe, 4 weeks ago, after we beat West Ham, people were saying we could still finish in the top 10. That's my point I'm going to make.
Wayman got his bloody
passport. I don't saying that. When we played at West Ham, I believed we could do it. Get Phillips and Bamford in the team. We can do it. I just don't see how you can go from... That was only Newcastle, Villa, Everton 4 games ago. How can it change so much in 4 games? We've not lost every game, by the way, either. All right, we've only got a point from the 4 games, but, it's... I just don't get it for me.
Do you know what the thing is, though? I feel like with Bielsa, with this team, and this is why I always say this, that you can turn up. And that's why I feel like when you're looking at the bottom 3, I always feel that with the right team and the right momentum, it can happen. You have got results this season. And the problem is because of where these fixtures are lying. The fact you've got Manchester United, Liverpool, Spurs, it's not easy. And listen, it's been a while since we've been in a relegation battle, but I know exactly what it's like where you're looking around going, when is it coming?
It's not that long ago, mate.
It was a while ago.
It's not that long. Only 2 years.
Yeah, it was a long time. I've never talked about it, but listen, it was every other week, wasn't it? It was for 5 years. Was down there, so it's just a fixture list, isn't it? And it just piles on pressure. But look, you've got to, you are where you are, and you've just got to back him. And that's it. And,
the facts are as well. Like for me, after the weekend. We gone from having a 6-point gap to a 5-point gap. So we've lost a point and one less game to play. And that's what I'm talking about. So even when all the results went against us really this weekend in terms of Newcastle get a point, Watford win, Burnley win, the gap's gone to 5 points, right? Which is 1 less. Now, the reason Watford, Burnley, Norwich and that are down there is because they can't pick up wins on the regular, right? So like Burnley have got two wins all season. Let's not believe that they're now going to go, they're going to win 4-5 on the back. It's just not going to happen. So we just have to keep keep going and pick up, the odd win here and there. And like Oscar said, the big performances need to come against Norwich. They need to come against when we play I think we have to play Watford as well. We've played Burnley, we've played Newcastle, Everton. So we've got a game against Brentford, this Palace, so they're the ones for us, right? They're the ones for us. We'll be all right, though. I do believe that, like I say. I do. Yeah. My mate sent me the fixtures earlier on for all the bottom sides, and we've got a tough running, but I still believe. I still believe.
To be honest, I do as well. You only have to look at yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
No one is telling me we can see 4 goals of Calvin Phillips on that football pitch yesterday. No one is convincing me of that, because we would not concede 4 goals if Calvin Phillips is on that pitch. No one's convincing me against Newcastle we wouldn't have scored if Patrick Bamford was on the pitch. These are the things I'm talking about. And these are little points that we might just pick up. Coops as well. Look, I don't need to talk about Liam Cooper. The amount of stick he gets on YouTube, Twitter, everything. It's because his name's Liam Cooper. If he had a fancy foreign name, Liam Cooperdini, everyone would love him. Everyone would love him. That's the absolute reality. There is not a chance Leeds United concede 10 goals in 3 games with Liam Cooper on the pitch. It doesn't happen. It's never happened with Cooper on the pitch. So you can have whatever narrative or agenda you want against Liam Cooper. These last 3 or 4 games, even back to when Cooper got the injury, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. We probably want our best clean sheet run with Liam Cooper in the team. We've only got to get 1 or 2 of those players back out of Cooper, Phillips, Bamford. Of course, Robin Koch's injured. I thought Robin Koch was having a super game until he fortunately came off. I think he's done well since he's come back in, to be honest, Robin Koch. Other than when he got obviously dropped into the back 3 against Everton, I think he's had a real strong last couple of games. Let's hope that injury is not too serious. But yeah, I just feel like that's key now. You're obviously getting those players back into the team. Obviously, Rafinha showed that magic that he's got. He is the best, for me, categorically, is the best player involved in all of those teams that are down there. He is the big difference maker out of all of them. And yeah, look, Paul, it is ifs and buts, but it's ifs and buts for everyone. That's the thing.
This is what I mean. It's funny. Yeah.
Everton's big thing now is, can Dele Alli reproduce his Tottenham form? That's a bigger if than anyone. That's a bigger if than anyone.
He's done, man. He's done out here.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. Anyway, brother, I think we'll leave it there, because we could talk about this relegation fight all night.
He's bored of it.
Yeah, exactly. Corey's gone, I've had enough, man. Why are they still talking about this? Corey's sick of his life thinking about top 4, and then he's got to deal with me and you talking about relegation, man. We'll be all right, though. Listen, no video tomorrow, but I'll be back Wednesday, obviously, for a watch-along. Of the Liverpool game. Corey, don't come back. Sorry, we were doing your heading with a relegation chat.
No, it made me laugh. I just heard out of the corner of Dele Alli. He's done. He's finished. Add him to the list. Him and Fat Frank. I can't stand either of them. I don't know if I know he's done. But yeah,
exactly. But yeah, make sure you check out Corey on the West Ham way. Make sure you check out Oscar on All These TV. I was on the other day. Actually, I popped on Saturday evening, Sunday evening. Sorry.
It's only yesterday, mate.
Well, mate, I can honestly, yeah, it's mad. It's mad. My voice is still knacked as well. Like, genuinely, there were times during that game I was just going,
yeah, same.
What have I just said? Like, it
was just different yesterday. It was just, I can't explain it. It was just different somehow.
Insane it was, and I almost felt a little bit tin pot today, like, because I was thinking. But all it does for me is realizes it shows me how starved we've been of any sort of real success for a long time, Oscar, in terms of at the top of the football pyramid. So for us to get them 2 goals against them after being 2-0 down at half-time, 24 seconds, I'd only just finished it celebrating the first. And then Rafinha slid in. I was like that. Yeah. Man, it was sick. It was sick, honestly. And I know we lost the game, which is the tin pot part of it, but that... then moments, man. I won't get, like I said to Sean.
I don't want to sound like Roy Keane though, but it means nothing now. As horrible as it sounds, as great as it was, and the people are called me miserable, but it means nothing now. We've got to look to create more memories now. We've got to move on from that. And
all right,
sorry.
Cheers
That was really miserable, wasn't it? That was really miserable.
Cheers for killing my buzz, you bell end.
But I was really keen like there. It doesn't matter. It didn't mean anything, did it?
Well, hopefully we can have another moment on Wednesday. But I think we'll leave it there. Right, thank you for watching as always, Oscar. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, Corey. I know you're always tired, bro. You're dedicated to the cause. We will be here on Thursday. There'll just be us three and Matt because we don't need a Tottenham fan because Matt is one. So that'll be us on Thursday. I'm rambling now. I'm really, really tired. I'm gonna shut up and let's just end it. Peace out.